Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm the public historian here at Oatlands, and one of the people whose stories I love to share is a woman named Deborah Buchanan Fox. She was actually born Mahala Frances Buchanan, named for her paternal grandmother, Mahala Jackson. By the time she was about 20, she had changed her name to Deborah, and that's what we call her. That's what I'll call her today. Now, by that time, in the 1920 federal census, she was also listed as working for the Eustace family as a cook, but not just here at Oatlands. In fact, she was listed with them in their Washington, D.C. home, which means she's not just seasonal staff hired when the family happens to be here in Leesburg. She is part of their core staff who moves with them from place to place. Unfortunately, it wasn't long after this that her father, Martin Van Buren Buchanan, a Civil War veteran, passed away, and within only a year, her mother, Amelia Massey Buchanan, also passed away. As a side note, it being Heart Health Month, Amelia Massey Buchanan is listed as dying of acute indigestion following heart trouble. Well, indigestion itself is not fatal, but it can be a symptom of something a little worse. And in this particular case, it may have been a symptom of a heart attack. It is one of those symptoms that is often written off as nothing or related to something else. So, while working for Edith, Deborah made a trip to Newburgh, New York, and Edith and Deborah attended a church service, a Baptist service there that was led by Reverend Henry Fox. Now, according to family lore, the courtship between Deborah and Reverend Fox was actually chaperoned by Edith Eustace herself. And on Christmas Day 1927, Deborah married the Reverend. She became instant stepmother to about 9 children, ranging in age from about 29 years old to preteen. She lived the rest of her life in Dutchess County, New York, including raising 4 of her own children. By the time of her death in 1977, she was a member of the Women's Republican Club, the Addie W. Hunton Club, sometimes called the Addie W. Hunton Church Club or Addie W. Hunton Republican Club, and a choir member and president of the Deaconess Board at the St. James AME Zion Church, where her husband had been pastor up until his passing. Throughout all of this, though, Deborah continued to travel around the country as Edith's companion, well into Edith's later years, the 1950s and even the 1960s. There's a lot we can't know about this relationship, but one has to imagine that the two of them found some sort of kinship in each other. And I feel like this is perhaps noteworthy, if only because of the time, given that the civil rights movement was at its peak, that racial tensions were incredibly high, especially here in the South. It does seem to say something about Edith's character that she did not pause to be friends with a woman of color, as well as someone who had once been her employee. She seems to have no qualms about either of those issues. But, like I said, there's a lot about this relationship that we just can't know, so I prefer to imagine that the two of them simply enjoyed each other's company and found strength in spending time with each other. In any case, we are always hoping for more information to come to light. We're always hoping for that next diary or next set of letters to come to the surface. And certainly, we here at Oatlands cherish our relationship with Deborah's descendants. But for now, that is the broad strokes story of Deborah Buchanan Fox.